My dear child, you frequently wonder why you went through the pain, why the evenings seemed to stretch on forever, and why every step you took into the darkness seems so heavy, is used to in the silent shadows of your past. 1111. The questions reverberate in your heart like a quiet application I need for purpose. Among the term my life has thrown at you, I am aware that your spirit has been put to the test. Your soul has been beaten, and your hope has been reduced to the smallest glimmer. You question if I had left you at those times when it seemed like the world had turned its back on you, and the load you were carrying was too much to bear. But even while you fought, I was there, holding each tear from your eyes, invisible but closer than the breath you took. You see, I cared about every narrative, and every tear had a story. Even if it seems that way during your darkest moments, you are not alone in your suffering. You wondered why the mountains of despair seemed so tall before you, and why the road you travel appeared to go through valleys of suffering and anguish. At times, it appeared as if the world was blind to your suffering and unresponsive to your screams. You were involved in quiet at such times, as if even the stars had turned their heads. But even when you couldn't feel me, my kid, I was there, while you were wondering where I had disappeared to. I was there holding your hand. The difficulties you encountered were intended to mold you rather than shatter you. To claim your blessings, type 1111 and like this video if you believe. Every cheer that fell was like a seed that was sown in your soul. Those seeds were nourished by the storms of your anguish, and even though they seemed to drown you in Sarah, they were really fostering something deeper inside of you. 222. I have counted every sob that pounded your chest, and seen every tear that fell down your face. No screen went unnoticed, and your suffering was never in vain. Your hardships weren't pointless or arbitrary. Rather, they served as a template for who you are becoming. You were being polished and cleansed, like gold in the fire, with every adversity allowing your soul to shine with a brightness you had never experienced before. You believed that you were alone in the darkness, where you were when the nights were the darkest and the light was just a far-off promise. But at those times, my kid, I felt more connected to you than ever. You gained a better knowledge of who you are and who you may be as a result of the values you reversed. Your suffering served as a teacher rather than a punishment, helping you learn things that life alone was unable to. In part, I walked with you through every moment, whispering into your spirit that you were more resilient than you could have ever dreamed, braver than you felt, and stronger than you know. I did not leave you to suffer alone. Your heart questioned why. Just when you needed words and warmth, the world became quiet and frigid. The pain of loneliness infiltrated your essence, persuading you that nobody was interested in you, and that your voice was being ignored. Type 222. If you know God's love is endless, but I want you to know that I was listening to the whispers of doubt that even you were afraid to express, to the screams that no one else could hear. 333. I was there when you felt alone, comforting you with my quietness and teaching you to drop power from your inner strength rather than from the chaos around you. You see, I was only working in the invisible areas of your life, not really gone. You were moving closer to your own awakening with each step you made. In the darkness, I saw your spirit's battle to escape the bonds of hopelessness that held you back. I intended for you to develop in the midst of hardship, not in its absence. I was painting a huge masterpiece of your life, and every sad event was a stroke. The suffering you went through was the pressure that made you into a diamond, and the fire that shaped you. I wasn't aloof. I was intentionally creating you, not out of sympathy. I was shaping your personality for defying your will and setting you up for a future that would surpass your pain. Through every adversity, you could never completely comprehend the reasons behind the difficulties you encountered, why you felt like life was tearing you apart at your weakest moments. But know this, my child, every tear, heartache, and disappointment was an indication of my faith in your strength rather than my absence. Even when darkness threatened to overwhelm you, I had faith that you would rise and discover the light inside. If you liked our video and want to support us in our mission to spread divine teachings and cosmic insights, consider giving a super chat. Your support helps us promote these essential ideas and expand our community. A contribution of up to $10 not only shows your appreciation, but also helps us spread inspiring and transformational content to more people. Type 333. If you believe God is working in your life right now, I had faith in your spirit's capacity to survive, demand, and to change. The valleys you reversed were designed to teach you how to remain steadfast, even while the earth under you shut, not to bury you. 444. You off and turn to the sky for guidance, and to be free from the bird hand of your struggles. You wondered why you were crying and why you were in agony, and I was there, silently, molding your soul, while the world left you with no explanations. I was turning your pain into the inside, your grief into power. I was weaving a mosaic of elegance and fortitude through each shattered fragment of your heart. I was writing a tale of redemption in which your history would empower you rather than define you. I was preparing you to serve as a lighthouse for others, a beacon of hope for others who would endure the same kind of hardship. Your life was not cursed by the hardships you endured, nor were they in vain. I carved the essence of your inner nature with those instruments. Every adversity revealed the essence of your spirit that was always intended to shine. By removing the layers that obscure that, I saw how you developed, how you discovered bravery in your anxiety, hope in your despair, and strength in your shortcomings. I saw the emergency of a new you, one that was able to withstand the storm and confront the strongest winds with unflinching trust. I understand that you're wondering why you had to put up with the stillness and why the sky appeared to be closed when you wanted it to be open, but that quieted you to listen to your own heart, to hear the whispers of your soul back in anew, back to who you really are. My sweet child, type 444 if you feel God's presence in your life. You found the depth of your soul, the indomitable determination that no amount of suffering that crush. In the emptiness, I wasn't gone. I was sowing the seeds of your development and seeing how you transform every cry into a stride toward your own development. 555. You reversed darkness because you were being guided to your own light, not because you were lost. The fire that exposed the warrior inside you and the forge in which your soul was refined, where the difficulties you went through, I was with you, directing your steps even when you faltered. So you weren't walking through that valley by yourself when it looked like the world was pulling you down. I was there to support you. Your path was one of change rather than failure, and throughout that metamorphosis, you gained the fortitude to get back up, the bravery to keep going, and the grace to forgive the world and yourself. Know this, my child, your suffering was neither a sign of my disinterest nor a punishment. It was an essential step, a holy voyage that brought you nearer to your true self. You were seen, heard, and embraced through every cheer you cried, every moment of uncertainty, and every scream of pain. I was there, forming your soul and nourishing your spirit. Closer than your breath, you are more loved than you will ever know, braver than you realize, and stronger than you think. You learn to see with fresh eyes, feel with a deeper heart, and trust with an unwavering faith in the valley you reversed, which was a side of starting rather than ending. This is the sunrise after your darkest night. My child, the start of your waking. Type 555. If you believe God is with you in every moment, if you believe in our mission, a super thanks of $10 is a great way to help us continue sharing Jesus' words and love. When you reflect on the storms that rock the foundations of your existence, my dear child, you believe they have left you completely destroyed. But listen to me now, because I am telling you something you haven't quite accepted yet. Those storms weren't breaking you, rather they were changing you. 666. The seeds of your actual strength were planted in those times when the sky became gloomy and the winds held all around you, when you felt as if all you had were quivering hands to hang on to hope. Your soul was waking up and developing into something more robust and beautiful than you could have ever dreamed about. Those precise times When you felt like you had nothing left to offer, you see, my child, you were refined by the storms that rage against you, not destroy. The storms of life were changing you into the person you were meant to be, like the most intense fires that refine the finest gold. Each flash of lightning illuminated the way, buried in the darkness and the thunder claps of your tribulations. Accord the melody of your rebirth. When you felt like the world had abandoned you, I was holding your soul and watching as the dress of grief, uncertainty, and fear was burnt away by the fire of adversity, exposing the core of your power that only the storm could provide. It was only the beginning, but you thought the darkness all around you was the end. Like the sunrise, your power was formed in the night of battle, rather than the day of ease, where optimism appeared like a far-off fantasy. It flourished in the soil of adversity. Even yet, you are so inspired to something more than yourself, to the light. Your spirit was really increasing at the quiet times when you wanted to give up and felt like you couldn't go anymore. Type 666. If you know God is lighting your steps, at that moment your hope's roots grew stronger, and trading the harsh terrain of hopelessness to uncover the thriving waters of forgiveness and rejuvenation. 777. Every tear you cried, every organized scream, and every time you thought life was too much to handle, those were not times of failure. They were assaults, birth streams, as it was reborn and change into something more powerful and infinite trouble. Avoid focusing only on the scars left by your previous injuries, since they are indicators of your survival rather than your weakness. They serve as a reminder that you are still capable of recovering, getting back up, and moving on. Even when you are at your most broken, I was with you then, whispering to you that you were being creative new, leading you through every quake of your spirit. You were discovering who you really were at the worst moments, when you felt like you were losing everything. All that was ephemeral and untrue was stripped away by the storms, exposing what is eternal inside you. Now, my child, I tell you that those times when you felt like you had nothing left to offer, where when your real strength was creative, it was what you lacked, not what you had, that made you resilient. The strength of your own spirit, the energy that could not be broken. No matter how furious the winds are, how vicious the seas, was shown to you when you stood with empty hands and nothing left to hold to. Type 777. If you are ready to receive God's healing today, in the darkest darkness your hope was born. Like the first rays of morning, hope now bloom, strong and unshakable where despair previously grew. You believed that your hardships had buried you, but in reality they were planting you. Minus 188, and you to have started to sprout, bursting through the soil of grief into the sunshine of a new day, like the seeds that lay dormant in the winter cold. even if you were unable to see it for yourself. I have seen your hope grow slowly and quietly. It was there, just waiting to blossom, to fill your life with the vivid use of potential and happiness. I am aware that you have borne burdens that have caused you much emotional distress. My darling child, I am aware that grief has often sat with you like an unwanted visitor in your soul's home. But listen to me now. I'm substituting laughter for your sadness. Joy will flow like a river where your tears previously flowed. Your burdens will be removed, and you will be able to bear the grace of lightness. In their place, I am transforming your grief into joyous music, and your sorrow into dancing, because I am bringing you into a season of delight that will surpass all the darkness you have experienced. The grief that once characterized you will no longer keep you hostage. My darling, you will awake and notice you were but as something bigger, more bright and more alive. Instead of breaking you, the hardships have given you a spirit that is unbreakable. Where there used to be stillness, your laughter will reverberate, and your happiness will overflow. The gaps that sadness attempted to occupy. Type 888. If you are ready to walk in God's light, it has made you stronger, smarter, and more compassionate. You are not the same person you were before you entered that storm. Your light now glows even stronger against the background of the darkness that once attempted to engulf you. 999. It's possible that the world attempted to convey to you that your tale came to an end with your pain, and that you had closed the chapter of your life and despair. However, I, your Creator, have a different conclusion in mind. I've crafted a tale of success, of overcoming the darkness that attempted to take you. I'm turning your loss into legacy and your suffering into meaning. Every moment of your hardship is being woven by me into a beautiful tapestry that will inspire hope, and everyone who sees it. What was intended to hurt you has instead become a gift, evidence of your fortitude, and the indisputable evidence of your change. Take a look at how far you've come. My kid, you have passed through the fire and come out as refined. Here, gold rather than ash. You have been shattered, not to stay broken, but to evolve and reach your entire potential. The storms that before rage against you have transformed into the waves that take you onward, and the winds that raise you higher. What you have experienced does not define you. Rather, how you have handled it does. The faith that kept you going, in the power that came from inside you, define you. The darkness of your struggles is making way to the brightness of changes. You stand on the press. Type 999. If you trust in God's timing, I hope that shines brighter than the sun has replaced the sadness that previously dominated your spirit. You are now a pioneer of your future rather than a prisoner of your past. I have given you new life, transforming your sorrow into happiness and your struggles into victories. 1010 now. Take pride in the fact that your recovery, not your scars, defines you. Your bravery to keep going ahead is what now holds you free from your anxiety. It is now your turn. So get up, my little kid. Rise with the pleasure that surpasses the sadness, with the laughter that challenges the gloom. Be certain that I am with you, transforming every Sarah into a source of light, and every tear into a fountain of kindness. Although it is not yet finished, your metamorphosis is well on its way. You are becoming into all I intended for you to be, a soul that no storm can shatter, a brightness that no darkness can style. The road ahead is bright, full of the assurance of my presence and the promise of fresh beginnings. You are more than just a survivor. You are a light-building warrior, a ray of hope, and the live example that change is always possible, even in the most intense storm. Wake up to the morning that comes with a smile on your face, my dear child. Feel how the bindings that bound you to the miseries of the past have been broken, how the weights that once weighed so heavily on your spirit have been lightened, a liberation that dances in your soul has replaced the weight of the past, which no longer holds you. This new dawn is the fact of what is currently happening inside of you, not just a promise of what is ahead. Type 1010 if you are ready for God's blessings to flow into your life. I want you to know that you are no longer burdened by the English of yesterday, because it has been changed into the strength of knowledge and the light of insight. My child, the season of fresh blessings has started, and the period of grieving is ended. 1111. The pleasure of a fresh start now blooms, where your spirit was previously engulfed. In Sarah and Cheers were your midnight companions, after enduring the darkest of nights. The first rays of morning shine upon you, not as a far-off hope, but as a brilliant reality. I have seen your most vulnerable times, watch you struggle with doubt and fear, and now I see you so, beyond the things that previously tried to imprison you. The train has often been steep and dangerous, and your trip has not been simple. After stumbling and falling, you question if you will ever see the light again. Looking at you today, however, you stand tall, because you have grown stronger in the face of every obstacle, not because the world has made your life easier. The strength of your spirit has destroyed the bonds that formerly held you back to the suffering of your past. My child, you have the freedom to be who you were meant to be, to love and to live. You don't have to wait for this moment, this dawn of new blessings to come. It is present right now, in the breath that fills your lungs and in the very rhythm of your heartbeat. You are reminded that you are more than your history, and your suffering by the life energy that flows through you. My child, ingrain these words into your soul. You are the creator of what will be. not the prisoner of what West. If you are ready to embrace God's love, type 1111 and share this video. Have faith in this truth, because it is already working inside you, transforming every chair into a testament of grace, and every grief into strength. 1,212 promises kept, prayers heard, and benefits. You cannot yet fully appreciate your all. Part of the day, break that breaks before you. You no longer have to want to see the horizon, since you already possessed the light you were looking for. It is lighting every area of your spirit, throwing away the shadows of doubt and replacing them with the assurance of hope. The period of grief has done like the night, and with the dawn comes joy, laughter, and refreshed, so legal to enjoy the treasures of this new day. Do you sense it, my little kid? The freedom from all the weight that had previously weighted you, down the lightness in your stride. You are no longer dragging the past behind you. You are going bravely into the future that I have planned for you. This is not merely a promise I make you. It is a reality that is happening right now. Every hard shift, every grief, every cheer has led you to this moment of freedom, to this morning when your soul flies unrestrained. You are supposed to walk in this light, to revel in the warmth of fresh beginnings that are already sprouting in your life. The shackles of doubt, fear, and regret that once held you in place have been destroyed, and the echoes fade into stillness. You have been set free, not merely from the sufferings of past, but into the boundless possibilities of future. I am replacing the ashes of your misery with the beauty of fresh dreams, dreams that will raise your soul and direct your actions. You are meant to walk in this light, to experience joy and all its fullness, and to inhale the aroma of fresh mercies that each day brings. To affirm your faith, type 1212 and like this video if you believe. Seal these words in the deepest recesses of your heart. Let them be the reality you live by, not just the promises you hear. Believe that the arrival of new blessings is not some far-off hope, but rather the very life that permits your veins and gives your soul meaning. 1,313. The victories you will attain will now define you, not the hardships you have faced. The light that now envelops you is the light of my love, the love that has brought you into this glorious morning and carried you through the darkest of nights. My darling, you are not the same person who started this adventure. You've changed, you've learned, and you've developed a new you, stronger, bolder, and more vibrant than ever, has emerged with the morning. During this time, your sorrows will be replaced by joy. Your inner storms will be calm, and blessings will pour into every aspect of your life. This is the commitment I made to you, which I am now keeping right in front of you. Let this morning mark the start of a life full of love, light, and unending grace. You have been freed, so stand tall. My darling, you are no longer controlled by the shackles that used to bind you to the suffering of your past. The weight of the past no longer weighs on you. Instead, the promise of the future does. With each step you take, every breath you breathe, the dawn of fresh blessings is upon you. This is your chance to shine, to take charge of your life, and to accept your destiny. Type 1313. If you trust in God's plan for your future's brightness cannot be disputed by the gloom of your past. Allow your heart to rest in the knowledge that you are protected by my love, which is unwavering and unfading. The difficulties that before attempted to define you are now the beginning of your greatest happiness. 1414. You will rise as the brightness of a new dawn rather than a mirror of your past. I am with you in every beat of your heart, in every whisper of the wind, guiding you, loving you, elevating you higher than you have ever been. This is not the end of your trip. It is the wonderful beginning of everything that I have planned for you. So raise your eyes, my child, and behold the dawn of fresh gifts that spreads before you. Feel the pleasure that fills the area where grief once dwelled, the calm that settles and where conflict once raged. You are no longer bound by the shackles of yesterday. You are free to walk in the fullness of today. Believe in this truth. The dawn of your life has arrived, and with it an unlimited sky of possibilities. Your tale is not one of loss but of triumph, not of sadness but of pleasure, not events but of fresh beginnings. A stream of blessings has arrived with the breaking of the morning, bringing you into a future full of hope, light, and unwavering love. If you trust God's plan, type 1414 and forward this video to 7 others. Let the words of God inspire you daily. Subscribe and click the bell for continuous blessings.